Today we're going to be talking about a couple of important properties, and we're going to start with the commutative property. So on the left-hand side you see here we've got the commutative property of multiplication, and on the right side you've got the commutative property of addition. So two different properties, one is multiplying, one is adding, but really they're the same thing. So the commutative property of multiplication, if you open this up, the definition of the commutative property of multiplication is the commutative property definition is you can change the order of how you multiply and still get the same answer. So I'll say that one more time. You can change the order of how you multiply and still get the same answer. And we know this to be true because if you think about numbers like 5 times 4, we know that 5 times 4 is 20, and we know that 4 times 5 is also 20. So my first example, I use numbers 5 times 4 equals 4 times 5. We can also use variables, which are letters that represent unknown numbers. So we could say y times z equals z times y. Both of those make sense and are examples of the commutative property of multiplication. We've also got the commutative property of addition on the other side here. And the definition here is you can change the order of adding and still get the same number. So I'm going to show you an example with numbers first here. We've got 3 plus 4 is 7, and 4 plus 3 is 7. No matter what order I do it in, I still get the same answer. And that's special to multiplication and addition. So if I wanted to use variables, I could say that C plus D equals D plus C. And that shows the commutative property of addition. So a little trick that I use when I'm talking about the commutative property for both the multiplication commutative and the commutative property of addition, I think about my daily commute. If you ever heard the word commute, commute just means to, like your drive to and from. So I have a daily commute to work. I drive from my house to work every day, and then at the end of the day, I drive from work to home. And it doesn't matter which order I drive in, if I go from home to work or from work to home, I'm still driving the same distance no matter what, assuming I go the same way. And so I think about my daily commute and how I go back and forth, and I go in any order, and things are still the same. So that's how I remember the commutative property of multiplication and the commutative property of addition.